other good news is that
Is this good news? I'm on the fence about it.
the
being
top.
good
Are you talking
news.
about the top one or the bottom one?
I'm talking about both.
Oh, okay. So the
Both
top
are
one,
pretty okay.
the one that I think is good news. I think it said Dave Filoni is now the chief creative officer of Lucasfilm, and which means that he will oversee every Star Wars project moving forward with Kathleen Kennedy. So Kathleen Kennedy is not out, but now
She
Dave
was, though.
Filoni is there to, I guess, be quality control. I don't know. I feel like he's kind of been doing this for a while anyway. They're just kind of now giving him the official position. So I think this is a good move for Star Wars, but I'm also not going to say Star Wars is so back, guys. We're so back. Because it's like, maybe we're not. I don't know. Because Dave Filoni has done things that are 10 million times better than what Disney has been doing. But he doesn't have a perfect track record. So I don't know. How do you feel about this? You're a little more invested on the Star Wars side than I am. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, I'm a little more invested, especially on the Dave Filoni side, because he's done like Rebels, The Mandalorian, and obviously, most importantly, The Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars?
And those have all been really good. And I do think this is a good step in the right direction. If Star Wars wants any chance of turning around from the kind of mediocre state they're in right now, having someone like Dave Filoni as the creative lead is a phenomenal move, and I'm all here for it. My only concern is that Kathleen Kennedy is still going to have too much influence.
Yeah.
Because they really just will not let her go. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see any reason as an outsider why they wouldn't just say, "Hey, Kathleen, you can retire. We'll put Dave in this position.
Right.
He's been here for a while. He knows the ins and outs. He worked with George Lucas. Like, he's got it going on."
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't want to let her go.
Even
And
though
I'm
no
really
one
curious.
likes her.
Yeah, no one likes her. She's ruined every single project she's ever worked on.
Yeah.
And they just cannot let her go. So
And for why? It's gotten to the point where I think it was either Family Guy or South Park did a whole bit about how she
oh my
ruins
gosh,
everything.
that was so funny.
And I was like, this is so true. If you have Family Guy making fun of you, then you know you're doing something wrong. Guys, this is general knowledge that no one likes her. Why can't we just put Jon Favreau where Dave Filoni is now and put Dave Filoni where Kathleen Kennedy is now? Just let them do it together. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I want it to be good. I really do. I don't know. I'm just so skeptical about it. And that's all I have to say. I'm skeptical.
We also just,
I'm hopeful that it'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm
we
also
just
like,
don't have. Oh, go ahead.
Dave Filoni just started working on the outline for Ahsoka season 2, and I'm like, you should have had that done a long time ago.
Yeah.
Which also tells me that maybe Ahsoka season 2 isn't necessary for whatever like this big Mando crossover movie is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just
know.
seems like there's a lot of shifting around. I don't know. I know Taika Waititi's next up in the Star Wars pipeline. I don't.
Yeah.
He needs to
I don't
stop
know.
talking.
He's said some stuff that I haven't liked these last few weeks. So, we'll see what happens. I don't know. Star Wars. Continuing into Star Wars, Daisy Ridley has recently talked about a Rey movie.
Yeah, that's the next one. See, here's the thing. I saw a tweet about this yesterday. Is one of the biggest movie franchises has now been relegated to television.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't gotten a new Star Wars movie in 4 years. Like, there's been no way to go to a theater and see a Star Wars movie. You could go watch one episode of Ahsoka in select theaters, and that's it.
Yeah.
And because the original tweet was someone saying, like, they're releasing 5 Star Wars shows next year on Disney Plus. And that was where someone was like, oh, it's really sad that this great movie franchise is now being relegated to all TV shows. which is kind of the direction Marvel is going in, is like having these TV shows. And don't get me wrong, TV shows are great. You should have TV shows. But it's really weird that we've gone this long without a Star Wars movie.
Right.
Especially after having 7, 8, and 9 every other year. Like,
it's like, did we forget why we're here? Like,
Star Wars is about movies. I want to go see a Star Wars movie in the theater.
I want to go see it in the theater. And I don't know. It just feels kind of like, it feels disrespectful to Star Wars to be like, I don't know. I remember years ago when Disney Plus came out and everyone was like, this is going to be the worst move Disney has ever done. And I was like, there's no way. And now I'm looking back like, oh crap. Like, did Disney Plus kill Star Wars? I feel like the need...
That's a whole episode right there.
The need to, like, buff Disney Plus with content has ruined, like, 3 different franchises entirely. And it's just kind of like, shoot, dude.
Because they're the only franchises that could get people to subscribe.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, we need the content.
Yeah.
And then it became more about quality or quantity over quality.
Yeah.
Which I know is something Bob Iger said when he took over as CEO again.
Yeah.
He was like, don't worry, guys. We're focusing on quality over quantity. And I'm like, thanks, Bob. That's not true.
That's not true. But
you're
full of crap.
Directly
but
to my
though.
face. That's not true.
Anywho, yeah, I don't know anything
Daisy
about
Ridley,
the Rey movie, you know.
She just said, I know the storyline for one film. That's not to say that's all it is, but that's what I was told about. And I imagine it will be the next film, I think. I mean, again, I don't know, post-strikes and everything, how quickly everything will start up again. But yes, so far, I know the story of one film, and I think people will be very excited. That is so vague.
It's not true. No,
that is so vague.
Yeah.
I'm like, so how much did Disney slide in the bank account to be like, hey,
pretend there's a Rey movie.
Pretend there's a Rey movie. Pretend we've written it and pretend like it's happening. And I don't say that
like
to
it's
disparage
good.
Daisy Ridley. I like Daisy Ridley. I think she's an incredible actress. She's done great work. She did great work in the Star Wars movies. She just got saddled with a bad script.
handed a bad script. She did really good with what she was given. We have no hate on her at all. I just really... I don't think this is a good move. I don't think this is a good move for Star Wars. I feel like here's the thing. We can't just go with correction at this. We can't course correct. You need to like cut off and say, "Hey, we did that,"
or embrace it.
Right. It's like they're like, we did the sequels and they weren't good. We're sorry. We're completely pivoting. Like, pivot, please. We're like, we don't need to course correct the sequels. They were bad. Leave them there. I need you to pivot. Like, we're done with that. We're done. We don't want to see that anymore. Pivot. I think it has potential. I think you could do a Rey movie that did her character a lot more justice, but it also feels a lot of like... It feels like the entire point of a Rey movie is to right the wrongs of the other 3 movies. And I don't like that. I don't like making a movie to correct your mistakes. Then again, one of my personal favorite Star Wars movies was the most expensive plot hole fix ever called Rogue One. So,
whoa,
that's
not a plot hole fix. It was, I wouldn't. Okay, hold on. Whoa, that's a massive mischaracterization of Rogue One entirely. It's not a plot hole because in the opening crawl of A New Hope, it says rebel spies died to get us this information. And then it picks up with Leia transporting the information. It was never a plot hole.
Yeah, but the whole
Disney
point was
wanted to make a movie.
The whole point was to explain why there was a weak spot in the Death Star. They were like, well, why is there a weak spot in the Death Star? And they were like, well, let's make Rogue One so that we can explain why there's a weak spot in the Death Star and show the beginning of this.
Not to mention the Empire built another Death Star.
Right.
Which is so funny because everyone's like, why would the Empire build a second Death Star? And I'm like, I hope you know that I'm pretty sure they were building them simultaneously.
Yeah.
And they started one, and one was like really close to being done, and then it was done, and they were like halfway on this other one, so that they could have multiple. This was not like the first one got blown up. Let's do it again.
With
the same problem.
Yeah.
Like, no, they were being built simultaneously. It's just one was a lot.
It's so funny.
A lot less.
One was a lot bigger. Well,
Yeah, and then
that being said,
during the time of that,
it's kind of
they were building Starkiller Base because they had to
Right.
be.
Of course, because it was convenient.
Because it was convenient.
I don't know. I say
Star Wars
that,
is dumb. Anyway,
I say
love
that
Star Wars.
saying I love Rogue One. I really do. It's one of my favorite Star Wars movies. I just, I'm here to have a conversation about it. That's all I'm saying. I'm just bringing that up. That's all I gotta say.